Two dots. Two dots, Testament base. Harold, you have it?
Yes, I have it.
Over regel v'lo chog. The Mishnah says that if the regel was over and the person did not bring the Chagigah, so he's not. There's no responsibility any longer because it passed. Valzen nemar, movis lo yuchal liskon. This is what Shlomo says is iniquity which cannot be corrected. V'chisor lo yochli monos, and it's a loss which cannot be computed. 9b. Omalei bar hei lehilel. Bar hei said to Hillel. So Tosa says, why was it called bar hei? It's an interesting name. Hei. So it says he was a ger. This person was a ger. And why was it called bar hei? Because originally Avram was Avram. He had a hey in it to his name. Sora was Sorai. She had a hey. So she's bar hei. He descends from Sora and Avram. Hey. Yeah? Shintos, because both of them had hey added. Chen Bagbag. From Ben Bagbag also. He was a ger. Because he also, Beis and Gimel, is 5. Bagbag. Okay? No, the two Tanoim. One's called Barhei Ben Bagbag. So it's Bagbag. Numerically, Beis is 2, 3 is 2 and 3 is 5. Right? That's a hey. So it's really Ben Bagbag, Barhei is the same type of situation. So Omalei Barhei Lehilil. Hai Limonos mi boilei. Right? It shouldn't be say limonos. It cannot be counted. Right? It cannot be compensated. Right? If you miss the korban, you cannot make up for it. So the word for make up is what? Howard?
I'm here.
You have something going on there? I hear something in the background. Okay. So what's the case of yoch limonos? There was a consensus that they can do a gemar mitzvah. And he was not counted with them. He didn't do the mitzvah with them. So therefore, that's called liyoch limonos. Once they do the mitzvah, he can't do the mitzvah with them any longer. It's just limonos. He can no longer be counted with them to do the mitzvah. Initially, there was a group who was going to do a mitzvah, and he could have done the mitzvah with them. Once they do the mitzvah, he cannot be counted as part of the group, so it's limonos. He can no longer be counted within the group. Person, what happens to this man Kriyashma passes? Can't make it up, it's gone forever. Bitul tefillah shel shachris, or tefillah shel arvis. Person didn't have mariv, didn't have shachris, lo yuchol limonos. Ze sheninu chaverov lidvar mitzvah, v'lo nimni moyim. So it's a brayso. Omalei bar hei lehilel maidich siv v'shavtem urisim. There's a verse in Malachi. Howard, could you put it on mute? V'shavtem urisim made tzadik l'rosho. Malachi says you will sit and see the difference between a tzaddik and a rosha. Bein oved elukim lasher lo avodo. A person who serves God and does not serve God. It seems to be redundant. So the Gemara asks, lo avodo hainu tzaddik. Bein oved elukim hainu tzaddik hainu oved elukim. Tzaddik serves God. Lo hainu rosha. The pasuk in Malachi is what? Is superfluous. What's a tzaddik? Tzaddik serves God. A Rosh does not serve God. Doesn't make sense. Omalei avodo v'lo avodo tarat tzadiki gemuri. Hillel says to Barhei, no. The one who serves God is a tzaddik. The one who says lo avodo also is a tzaddik. So what's the difference? Tzadike gemuri ninu, veino dome shone pirko me'apomim l'shone pirko me'vechod. You cannot compare a person who reviews his learning 100 times to one who reviews his learning 101 times. You review something 101. That means you're going beyond the norm. Beyond the norm, it's called avodo. You're really serving God. The lo avodo means you're locked into the norm. To be able to surpass the norm, that's called the person who truly serves God. Omar Leis, he says to Mishum Chadzim the Kori lo avodo, because he missed one time. The difference between 100 and 101 That's going to determine whether you serve Hashem or you don't serve Hashem. Omalei, he says, ain't. So Hillel says to him, listen, Tseu lemad, mishuk shachamor, go to the place where you rent out donkeys or mule drivers. Asura parsi bezuza. You want to take the trip to cover 10 parsi, which is 40 mil. It costs you $1. Chad osir parsi trey zuzi. But you want to go 11, you have to pay double. So what do we say? How much more did you do? It's not prorated, correct? You want to go 10 parsa, it costs you zuz. 11 parsa is double. How could it be double? So you see that a little extra brings it to another level. Amalei Eliyahu le Barheik. Eliyahu Novi says to Barheik, V'amalei le Reb Lozer. Maidich Siv, he says, le Reb Lozer, Maidich Siv, hine tziraftich v'lo bekesef. Hear this? I purified you, not regarding silver, bechartich, and I've chosen you. Norman, this is very important. I've chosen Bukura only with the crucible of poverty. Hashem tested us with the crucible of poverty. Hashem went and reviewed what's the best predicament for a Jew. You hear this? What's the best predicament for a Jew? Lo motze el anius. The best predicament for a Jew is that he be in a state of poverty. Omar Shmuel, the tamer of Yosef, Shmuel says, others say, Haid damri yichi. Yeusan yusli yudoi. Poverty is beneficial to the Jews. Ki barzu sumko l'susha chivro. Like a red sash on a white stallion. When you have a white stallion, the conscience beautifies it. What beautifies Klal Yisrael? Poverty. When Jews are poor, they bathe themselves. You become wealthy and you believe what you have a say in how you should live your life. When you're poor, you understand, you recognize Hashem, you're the master. You become self-sufficient and empowered, then it's a whole different story. So the best situation Hashem finds for us is anius. Reb Shimon ben Asi Omer, Ezuv Mehuvis, what is considered an equity luchol disko? Zabola erva vodi mena mamzer. Person, God forbid, he has relations with a forbidden relationship, which minimally carries kores, and he has an illegitimate child. So it seems to be holid ein, lo holid lo. Means you have to have a child. Just committing adultery or incest, that could be corrected with tshuva. But if there's a child, that's the problem. So Mar asks a question, what Tanya, Shimon Nasi Omer, Gone, what does Shimon Nasi say in the Mishnah? A person steals, Odom Efshe Shiazir. Person steals, you can return the stolen object. Gonvo V'Yisakin, right? By return, Shiazir Genevo V'Yisakin, returns the stolen item and he corrects it. Gozel Odom Efshe Shiazir Gzelo, if it's open armed robbery. So he steals. What you do? He return the stolen object. V'Yisakin. What happens if a woman's an adulteress? She's not permitted to husband any longer. So that's the Gemara's question. What do we have to say? Because there was a child. Because if there's a child, it can't be corrected because the child's alive. What about when he commits adultery? The woman becomes an adulteress. So the after effect is, it's something which is permanent. This woman who originally was permitted to husband is no longer permitted to the husband. Right? He's driven from the world and it's over. Reb Shimon Yechoy Omer, Ein Omer, Bikru Gomol, Bikru Chazir. We check something for a blemish. Do you check a what? A camel or a pig? It has no relevance. It's not the species that qualifies for the Mizbeach. What do you check to see if it has a blemish? An animal which qualifies for a korban, a sheep, a goat, or a ox. El Bakru Tler. So what are we talking about? It's the Talmud Chochem Shepirish Min Torah. What's considered an iniquity which cannot be corrected? Somebody was of status, and then he lost his status. Right? A person who's not there, it's not something that can't be corrected. You were never there. Rabbi Omer, Rabbi Yehuda ben Lokashom, called Talmud Chochem Shepirish Min Torah Olav HaKosev Omer. A Talmud Chochem removes himself from Torah. What does the pasuk say? Ketzipur no dedis min hakoneh, like a bird that hops from its nest. Kain ish no dimkomo. That's the equivalent of a man who actually removes himself from his location. V'omer mamotzu avosechem biyovel. Your forefathers, they find some fault in me. Ki richku me'olai, that they removed themselves. So what are we speaking about? Somebody was there and he removed himself. So what's muvish liyochol liskon? What is something that cannot be corrected? Meaning it was there and then it was removed. But we have a question. What does the Mishnah say? The only time it cannot be corrected is only if what? If there's a child born. We just asked the question, what about if it's what? She's an adulteress. So the effect is permanent. The consequence is obvious. There's a difference. What about if he has relations with his sister? It's incest, correct? So if there's a child born, he can do tshuva. Why? Because you have a representation of that incestuous act. But what happens if there's no child born? Tshuva is enough. So we're not talking about a child born from a married woman. We're talking about the child born from a sister. What happens if a person rapes a married woman and a child is born? Right? The woman is permitted to her husband because she was raped. So you can have a case, even a shasish, where if there's no child born, you could do tshuva. Because the woman's permitted to her husband because she's raped. And what? And he can do tshuva. But if there's a child born, even in the case of rape, the child is there, representing the act of adultery. But if it's done, she consents to the relation, then that's, even if there's no child, that's something that can be corrected, because the woman's forbidden to her husband as an adulteress. Both, it was a rape. Kambeishis Kohen, Kambeishis Yisrael. The question, who did he rape? Did he rape the wife of a Yisrael? She's permitted to husband. But a woman who's a wife of a Kohen is raped, she's forbidden because she's considered defiled. A Kohen is not permitted to remain with a defiled woman. Then the pasuk, U'liyotze v'lovo ein shalom. To the one who comes and goes, there is no peace. This is speaking about a person who leaves the Torah, right, and chooses to go elsewhere. Ein shalom, there's no peace there. What about a person that originally studied halacha, and all of a sudden now he wants to, says, you know something, the text alone is sufficient for me to understand what my responsibilities are. The man is totally off base. Instead, you need the halacha, you need Torah Sheba'al Peh to understand the Torah Shebechsav. You can't leave Torah Sheba'al Peh and say Torah Shebechsav is sufficient, I'll understand it based on my interpretation. Shuvein Shalom. If that's the case, there's no peace here. It's no longer wholesome. It's no longer intact. Shmuel Bar Mazeh, Porish Min Talmud L'Mishnah. What about a person who learned the many Mishnayos? Rashi explains that they have to be reconciled. Many times the Gemara says Chosuri Mechsur, something's been deleted in the Mishnah. If you read the Mishnah face value, it's difficult. So you have to have a Masorah to understand that something's been deleted to make it that it's cogent. So if you leave the Gemara and you just deal with Mishnah, also ain't shalom. You're not going to be wholesome. You go from Bavli to Yerushalmi. Bavli is much more difficult to study than Yerushalmi. Because Bavli, it's much more profound. It's much deeper. So a person who's learning Bavli and he goes to Yerushalmi. The whole approach is a different level of approach. So because the profoundness is not the same, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're shortchanging yourself. Heted Nedorim. Now, let's say a person makes a neder. No, we have Hatar Sana before Rosh Hashanah. So what's the halacha? And then afterwards, the person goes and says, I regret that I made the neder. That's the basis for nullification. Comes before a panel, says that, I regret I made it because such and such, then the neder is annulled. They say, mutalach, mutalach, mutalach. It's permitted, the neder, it's like it never existed. What about a person who says, if I would have known, not regret, if I would have known that the circumstance was different, I would have never made the neder. The court hears it, they say, mutalach, mutalach, mutalach. It's permitted, the neder is annulled, it's like the neder never existed. So the Mishnah says, heter nedori and porchem ba'avir. Meaning, that we're able to nullify a neder, it's not explicit in the Torah, it's something which is up in the air. We don't see it. What exactly is the basis that you're able to nullify a neder? See, once you make a neder, you're bound to the neder. So therefore, the Dorim is like porchem ba'avir, it's like something which is up in the air. Ve'ein lehem al mashis, they barely have what to rely on. The process of nullifying a neder, there's barely what to locate in the Torah that there's a basis to nullify nedorim. Hilchos Shabbos, What about the laws of Shabbos? Torah says lo sasko malocha, correct? We'll see. Chagigos, the mitzvah of Chagigah, to celebrate on Yom Tov, the Chagigah. V'ami'ilos, you're not permitted to what? To benefit something that's consecrated. Harein harorim hatlui b'saris, like mountains hanging on a hair. Also, it's more than a dorim, but it's something which also, it's very, barely you can locate exactly what the source is. Why? Shem mikramot, there's very little text. V'alochs merubos, there's endless laws of Shabbos. Endless laws. How much text? It's lo sasko malocha. But actually what we draw from that is endless. So it's like a mountain which is hanging on a thread, on a hair. Hadinim va'avodos va'atayris va'atmeis va'rayis yeshlam v'amash yismochu. That is explicit. You're not permitted to have relations with your father's wife, with your sister, with this, with that. That's all explicit. Dinim, you steal, this, that. So this is what? Yeah, they have there, it's explicit. You don't need much interpretation to understand what the laws are. Here, monetary laws, the service in the Beis Hamikdash, what's contaminated, what's not contaminated, what contaminates. Torah says explicitly, certain things contaminate, right? The carcass of an animal, this, that. That's Heinen Gufi Torah. That is the text of the Torah itself. Let's see the Gemara. Tanya. Reb Lezo miyeshlem amashi smochu. We say that Nedorim, it's something like it's suspended in midair, but we have to draw from in the Torah a basis for nullification of Nedorim. Howard? It's not on anymore.
I'm here.
But you're here, good. I'm happy. Reb Lezo miyeshlem amashi smoch shenema. It says ki yafli shnei pomim. When you make the netter, ki yafli, means you have to be very clear. But what does Torah have to repeat itself twice? Ki yafli. So Rashi explains, it says the two psukim. One yafli is first yafli is lindor neder. One yafli is written when you make the neder. The other yafli is speaking when you nullify the neder, when you nullify it. Okay? So let's see the Gemara. Ki yafli, shtei pomim, ach safloli. You said one is you're clear when you make what you're prohibiting. Vach safloli heter. One is what? You're clear, you present your case before the chacham or before the panel. Why the netter should not be a netter. Reb Shomei yeshlem al mashi smol. Therefore, what's the pasuk? Shenemar asher nishbati be'api. Hashem says he swore in it with his wrath. So what does it mean? Ba'api nishbati v'chazarti. Although I swore my wrath, but what happens when I calm down Hashem? It seems to be the oath is no longer in place. The person who gives out of generosity of his heart. So as long as you want to be generous, you give. But otherwise, it means you have to maintain that generosity. But if for some reason you have a change of mind, and there's a basis, you could retract. Chananya ben Och Achi Yoshua Omer, Chananya, the brother, the nephew of Rabbi Shua says, I swore and I will maintain it. To observe the laws of your righteous laws. So it seems to be what? If I want to maintain it, it's in place. But if I choose to undo it, how do you undo it? You go before a panel and you tell them, I either regret that I made the oath or the commitment, so then it's not. Rav Yehuda Shmuel. Rabbi Yehuda says name is Shmuel. Shmuel's an Amora. All these people are Tanoim. He says, if I would have been part of the discussion initially, I would say my source is better than all the sources. Why? Shenemar. What's the provision of violating one's neder? It says you should not profane your speech, right? You're not permitted to profane. Lo yachal dvoro. So you should not profane your speech. What's the inference? But others are able to profane it. Meaning, if you go before the panel and they say mutalach, it's permitted. Avalachera mochlin lo. Omar Rava says lakula islu pircha. Every one of the sources that was cited, other than Shmuel, has a refutation. You're able to refute the source. Lebar mid Shmuel, the less pircha, except Shmuel's his source is not refutable. You cannot refute it. Dimid Reb Lezer Dimuk Reb Yudah Bishum Reb Tarfon. Very interesting. Maybe the double aflaw comes to speaking about hold something totally detanya. Reb Yudah Bishum Reb Tarfon Lo'ola Meinechon Men Nozir Shulin Torah El Aflaw. Listen to the case. Very interesting case. The Torah says by Nozir, Ki Yafli Ish Lazin Nozir. There has to be a certain degree of clarity. Let's say a person is walking down the street, And Reuven and Shimon watch him and they say, if this man is a Nazir, I will be a Nazir. That's what Reuven says. Shimon says, if the man is not a Nazir, I will be a Nazir. So each of them, when they made the statement, were they clear whether they were or weren't? At the time of the inception of the statement, they weren't. So because it's lacking in clarity initially when they made the statement, therefore neither are a Nazir. Okay? That's Reb Yudam Omishum Reb Tarfa La'olam E'echon Me Nazir. Shlo Nidna Nazirus Elaflo. When you regarding Nazirus, when you express it, has to be clear whether you are or you're not. So since over here it's unclear until you determine who this person was. Here, Reuven says, if he's a Nazir, I will be a Nazir. The other man says, no, I'll be a Nazir because he's not a Nazir. See, he's either yes or no. So when are you going to determine whether you are or not? You have to find out if the man was a Nazir or not a Nazir. So because it was unclear when they made the statement, neither is a Nazir. Because it was unclear. Hashem says, I swore my wrath, and I'm not retracting. So it doesn't mean, there's no inference that you could retract. God says, I swear with my wrath, and it's a place. The divlev doesn't mean as long as I want to give it in my heart. It means normally a neder, normally you have to verbalize a neder. If I want to say something is forbidden to me, I just think it's not enough. What about if you want to consecrate an animal to the Beis Hamikdash? Even if you think it in your mind, that's enough to obligate you. Because it says nediv leiv. It's the giving of your heart. Although there was no verbalization, even though he didn't articulate it with his lips, nevertheless, he's bound. What about Idrib Chananya ben Achir B'Shua? Dilma Krev Gidol Marav? Minayin. Normally, if a person takes an oath, a person says, I swear I'll put on tefillin. I swear something which you're obligated in either case. You know something? It's a shvuas. It's a shvuas shav. It's a wasted shvuah. You're obligated to keep it anyway. What do you need an oath? What about a person feels he needs it because he's waffling. He's not going to do it, and he needs the shvuah to give him that commitment that he's going to do it. Then he's permitted. Then the shvuah is binding. Shmuel, there is no refutation. What Shmuel? Omar Rova, Rav Nachman Yitzchak Hainu Damri Inchi. This is what people say. Tava Chade Pilpulto Charifto. Mimoli Tzona Dekori. Hear this? One sharp pepper, even a seed of a sharp pepper, is better than the whole basket of gourds, which are very mild and bland. Yeah, one sharp. So Shmuel, his limud, where he draws it from, although it's verses multiple, every one of them can be refuted. Shmuel's source cannot be refuted. So it's like say one sharp pepper is better than the whole basket of gourds. Hilchah Shabbos. It says Hilchah Shabbos are like mountains hanging on a thread, on a hair. So Maria asks, what's Lichtach Siv? It says Lo Sasko Melocha. Right? It says you're not permitted to do Melocha on Shabbos. Lo Tzricho Lich Rababa Domer Rababa HaChofer Guma B'Shabbos in Tzorcha Lafra. What happens? Digging. What is the Melocha of digging? Digging is binyan, is building, right? You dig a foundation, you build. What about a person digs the hole, not for the hole, but he digs the hole for the earth? Right? It has to be similar to the Mishkan. In the Mishkan, when they dug the hole, it was to use the hole. But here the person's only digging the hole for what? Not for the hole, but for the earth to take it out. So Reb Shimon says, you're not liable. That's not considered a violation of Shabbos. Kemant Reb Shimon. Who says potur? Like Reb Shimon, the Omar Mloch shein tzricha l'gufa potur or leho, that if the mloch is not being done for the mloch, it's only a byproduct of the intent, there is no liability. So if that's the case, where do you see this? Therefore, it's like a mountain hanging on a hair. On that one, it's Afitil Reb Yehuda. You could even say it's one like Reb Yehuda. Hosam Sakar Hochem Mekalka. What's the halacha? You do something, and rather than being constructive, it's destructive. You're not in violation of Shabbos. Because it has to be similar to the Mishkan. Just as in the Mishkan, any creative activity they did, it was constructive, not destructive. So if you do something, which, let's say, so I dig a hole in your kitchen floor. I mean, you dug a hole, but what did you do? You destroyed the floor. That's considered a destructive act. So even though, if you look at it in its own right, you created a hole, which is normally building, but not in the context where you created it. Where you made the hole, it was a destructive act. Hosam Salka Makalkil. So what does the meaning? Maika rorin atli besar. What does it mean? It's like mountains. I'm turning the page. What does it mean? It's like mountains hanging on a thread. Right? It says it has to be created. How do you know it has to be created? How do you know it has to be creative? You know what the answer is? Where does the Torah say lo sasu kol malocha? The Torah juxtaposes it to the building of the Mishkan. If not to that juxtaposition, I'd say it's a malocha. Whether it's destructive, constructive, irrelevant. But since the Torah juxtaposes it to the building of the Mishkan, and in the Mishkan every malocha had constructive value, therefore, when are you in violation of lo sasu kol malocha? You're not permitted to do malocha on Shabbos, only if it has a semblance of what they did in the Mishkan. Okay? Then it says chagigos. Chagigah, that you have to bring a chagigah and Yom Tiv, also. It's like mountains hanging on a thread. So it says v'chagosum chag l'Hashem. It says you celebrate it. Rav Papa asked about how do you know when it says you should celebrate as chag l'Hashem? How do you mean slaughtering the animal? Dilma chugo chag means celebrate. Komar rachmano elamiato. But he says, what does it say? It says they celebrated for me in the midbar. What they had a party. What does it mean? They celebrated in the midbar. It means they brought korbanos. Maybe they only mean they celebrated. When Moshe went to Paro, what did he said to Paro? We want to leave Egypt for 3 days. Because our God said, I want you to celebrate for me in the midbar. So what did that mean? Did that mean to say, I want you to have a party in the midbar? It's korbanos. He says, maybe it's a party. No. Because Moshe says, he says, you will not go out. Not only do we want to take what's ours, you're going to give us additional animals to bring sacrifices. So what do we see? Yechoga. What does chag mean? It means bring korbanos. So just as over there it means korbanos, when it says chagosos, chag l'Hashem, you should celebrate it as a chag l'Hashem. It means korbanos, not just having a party, eating and drinking. Yeah, Voksi v'yom Moshe gam atotitim b'yodeinu zvachim v'olos dil b'hochi kamer rachmana. Maybe this is what the Torah says. Ichlu su v'chugu chago kamoy. You should drink, eat and drink, and celebrate on my behalf. That's awesome. Because what does it say regarding Yom Tiv? It says v'lo yolin chelev chagiat boker. But when you bring it, do not allow the chelev, the fat of the animal, to stay over till morning. If it's not a korban, it's not noser. Noser is only the prohibition of leaving anything of that had to be sacrificed till the morning. It's only if it's a korban. So since it says lo yolin chelev chagiat boker, it's clear it's a korban. What does the chelev have to do with celebrating on the chag? That's what it means. It's unrelated to celebration. If you bring a korban on the chag, you should not allow that. But where do we find there's a chiv chagigah? You have to bring a specific animal for the chag. El miato habob is man chag hud lo yolin. What are you talking about? We're saying, how does he want to turn to pasuk? The korban that you bring on Yom Tov, which you're not obligated, if the fat is left over, don't leave it till morning. But during the year when you bring a korban, what, you're permitted to leave the fat till the morning? Was he not permitted? Right? It says, Kol layla raboker ksiv. It says, you're only permitted to leave it till the morning. Dilma ime ahiava amina hu l'essay kosav rachman. That's an essay. One is an assay. Hai l'lav. Yeah, one is an assay, one's a lav. On Yom Tov, if you're in violation of a lav, during the year, it's what? It's an assay. Somewhere says, l'lav, koser rachman achrina. We have another pasuk. It says, lo yolin min aboser asher tizbach be'erev yom rishon leboker. You should not leave over from the meat. B'dilm lavalo b'shnei lavim v'esay. It's to tell me you're in violation of 2 lavim and 1 essay. Ela'asio midover dover. We have Gzera Shava. How do we know that you have a chiv chagigah? You have to come out to Gzera Shava. It says what? It says midbar and it says midbar. What does it say? Ksiv hocha v'chogli ba midbar. It says by Moshe Rabbeinu, what did he tell Paro? Our God said you should celebrate for us in the midbar. Uchsiv hosom Hazvochim u'minchoi gashtem li bamidbar. You brought for me animals and meal offerings in the midbar. Mal halon zvochim, just as in the second pasuk, it says zvochim, right? It says zvochim. Where's the pasuk? Vov. Yeah, pasuk in Amos, right? Just over the zvochim here also, when it says v'chud li bamidbar, it means zvochim. Malon zvochim avkan zvochim. So what's the harora tlui masaro? It's like mountains hanging on a mountain. Dvar Torah midivrei kabbalah lo yafina, because it's gzera shava. You hear this? It's gzera shava. We're learning midbar. The one pasuk is written in Amos. The pasuk. Where am I learning the gzera shava from? How do we know that chogul means karbonos? Because in Amos it says hazvochim u'mincha higashtem li bamidbar. So that's how we know they were karbonos in the midbar. But where's that pasuk written? That's a novi. We're making a gzera shava from novi to what? To the Torah. That's the chiddush. So therefore, that's like a mountain hanging on a hair. Milos. What about Milo? If you benefit from something that's consecrated, that you have to bring a korban and so on and so forth, it's like a mountain hanging on a hair. Michtav ksivon. So Moshe says it's explicit in Torah. It says that if you benefit from something that was consecrated, you have to bring a korban. Listen to this story. Normally, under normal circumstances, if I delegate an agent to steal on my behalf, is he my agent? He's not your agent. We have principle ein shlich devar aveira. You cannot delegate an agent to do an aveira. That the action is attributed to the one who delegated him. Except there's an exception. Mila, yes. If I tell a person, take this bag of money and go purchase something, and the one who delegates him doesn't realize that the money was consecrated money, and the agent goes and does the bidding of the agent, of the one who made him the agent, the one who sent him is liable. It's liable. We say yesh l'ich dvar aveira. We do say it. It's a chiddush, right? Which means what we normally don't say in regard to Mila, we do say. I mean, what the Torah says explicitly is when you personally benefit from something that's consecrated. You go, you take money that's consecrated, you buy something yourself. Okay, that's Mila. You're not permitted. What about I did it through an agent? How do I know the action of the agent is attributed to the one who sent him? Although we normally say, ein shlich devar aveira. L'nan hashliach she'osi shlichuso. The agent who did the agency of the one who sent him, balabais moal. The balabais, the one who sent him, he's liable for the Mila, for benefiting from something that's consecrated. Lo osi shlichuso. Let's say the agent went, I tell you to buy a shirt, he goes buys a chair. So the agent didn't carry out the agency. Right? Then, shlich moal. So the shlich is the one who's moil. V'chi osa shlichuso. By moal. And even if he does the shlichus, why are you moal? V'chi zechotev ze mischayev. How's it? We say in shlich devar aveira. The agent does the sin, and the one who sent him is not doing the sin. But yet I attribute the action of the agent to the one who sent him. This is what hainu karora tluim besara. It's like mountains hanging on a hair. He made a mistake. He told him to take the wrong bag. He had unconsecrated money, and mistakenly he says to the agent, take the bag and go purchase me a shirt. No, so if he bought the shirt, then he's doing his agency. So then it's attributed to the one who sent him. Because there he's carrying, but still, he's doing an Aveira. B'shogeg, it's inadvertent. We say shlich devar Aveira. The laws of agency normally don't function in the context of Aveira, of a sin. Regarding Mila, it does. It does. But let's say I tell you to go buy a shirt, he goes buys a chair. You're not doing what I asked you to do. So it's understood that the one who sent him is not going to be is not in violation, because the money that what he's purchasing is not what I asked you to purchase. Yeah, the agent is responsible. So that's simple. That's simple. But the chiddush is, but you have a case, even though the agent is doing the sin, we attribute the sin to the one who sent him if he does the bidding of the one who sent him. Right? So that's harorim atluim besaro. Omer of a maikusha. He says, what's so difficult? Why is it like mountains on a hair? Dil b'shayni mil, do you have a chet mitruma? We have a what? We have a Gzera Shava. It says Chet by Truma. It says Chet by Mila. Ma Hosam Shluch Shalom Kamoso. If I delegate a person to tithe Truma on my behalf, it's valid. Afkan Shluch Shalom Kamoso. So it's Gzera Shava. So it's not mountains on a hairbreadth, on a hair string. Elo Merovel Tzelu Tanya. Niskar Balabais Niskar Shliach. We'll leave this for tomorrow, and hopefully Howard will have a Refuah Shlema and be back tomorrow.
Amen. But if he has Zaz, then they're both liable. Is that correct?
No. If it's in a situation, only the one does the Avera is liable. And if it's by Mila, then the one who sent him is, and the one who did it is not.
Right, but if the master says, listen, here's a bag of consecrated money, I want you to go buy something, and he takes the bag and buys it, so they're both liable. Would that be correct?
No. Neither. Firstly, the money remains Hegdish. Mila is only where it's shogi, where they're unaware. If he's aware, the money retains its kedusha status.
And what happens to the shaliach? Is he also liable?
In that case, neither are liable. Neither are liable. Because the only time it transfers and becomes chulin is only if they're unaware that it's hegdish.
Okay.
It's only in the context of shogeg.
Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't make it in. It's just such a fast-moving cold that, a nauseous fever is the whole business.
They said that a hurricane and even a tsunami could develop it within an hour. So you got to be careful.
Well, your raft was even worse.
It's fast moving. It's a fast moving storm. It's in the mid-Atlantic. It's going to the Pacific now. It's fast moving.
Howard, as much as we miss you, we appreciate you not being here with a bad cold.
Exactly.
Because as generous as you are, you might have passed.